Dairy-free does not mean vegan, and the pint that proves it has dairy-free across the front and egg yolks in the ingredient list. We pulled the label and the allergen line on every major brand in the frozen aisle, and the failures are not the rich dairy pints that admit what they are. They are the sorbet, the non-dairy, and the light protein tub, the ones people reach for specifically to avoid what is inside them. Number 1 is the brand you buy when you are being good, 13 to avoid, 4 that actually are vegan. If you want a channel that reads the back of the label so you never have to trust the front, subscribe. That is the entire job here. Number 13. Bluebell. In Texas and much of the American South, Bluebell is not a dessert, it is identity. The girl leading the cow. Family owned, still in Brenham. Simplest test here. Read the first 2 ingredients on any half gallon. Milk, cream, no plant-based tier, no dairy-free line, no leaf. The allergen line says contains milk. So why is it here? Because of 2015, when Bluebell ice cream was linked to a listeria outbreak. 10 people hospitalized, 3 died in Kansas. In May 2020, the Department of Justice announced Bluebell Creameries agreed to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of distributing adulterated ice cream and pay $19.35 million in criminal penalties and civil settlement, including a $17.25 million criminal fine DOJ called the largest ever in a food safety case. Its former president was charged separately. His trial ended in a mistrial in August 2022, and the felony charges were resolved by plea in March 2023. Bluebell says food safety is its highest priority and has detailed its plant upgrades. Bluebell is not deceiving you. It sets the floor. If a company with that much trust ends up in federal court over what came out of its own plant, the label is not a courtesy. It is the only part of the package with consequences. Which brings us to the brand that puts the word pint on a container that is not a pint. Number 12. Häagen-Dazs. The invented Scandinavian name on an American product. The gold band. The whole identity is a purity story. 5 ingredients. Test. Pick up the vanilla and read the 4th ingredient. The published ingredient list reads cream, skim milk, cane sugar, egg yolks, vanilla extract. 5 things. Egg yolks. This is a French-style custard base, and egg yolk is what makes it taste the way it tastes. Not a secret, not illegal, and invisible to everyone who assumes ice cream is milk, cream, and sugar. For a strict vegetarian, for an egg allergy, for anyone who merged dairy and animal products into one list, that word changes the decision. Now the arithmetic. Read the net contents. 14 fluid ounces. A pint is 16. Häagen-Dazs downsized in 2009, and Ben & Jerry's ran a campaign calling downsized pints downright wrong, pledging to keep its own at a full 16. 12.5% less product, same tub, same slot. And people still call it a pint. A 5-ingredient list is only honest if you read all 5. Most people stop at 3. And the chain that sold you your first frozen dessert cannot legally call it ice cream. Number 11. Dairy Queen. 50 states, thousands of locations, the blizzard turned upside down over your head. For millions, the first frozen dessert they remember. Test. Do not read a label. Read the menu board. You will not find ice cream attached to the soft serve. You will find soft serve, not style, compliance. Under 21 CFR 135.110, a product cannot be labeled ice cream unless it contains not less than 10% milk fat and not less than 10% non-fat milk solids, and weighs not less than 4.5 pounds per gallon. Dairy Queen's soft serve is widely reported to run around 5% butterfat. Half the floor. That is why the company says soft serve. The chain sits inside Berkshire Hathaway, which acquired it in 1998. That is the fat story. The plant-based story costs more. There is a non-dairy dilly bar, made with coconut, and by ingredients it is dairy-free. So here is what it means. Non-dairy is not a synonym for vegan, and not even a promise of no dairy. It is a term out of dairy standards regulation. The product is not a standardized dairy food, which is not the same as free of every milk-derived component. Which is why non-dairy coffee creamers contain sodium caseinate, a protein isolated from milk. The label said non-dairy. The ingredient came from a cow. Here the gap is not the formula, it is the building. That bar is prepared in a store built around a dairy soft-serve machine. Allergy Resources note the routine cross-contact risk, and note that the Misty Freezes, the Coolers, and the Orange Julius smoothies contain milk. a chain that legally cannot call its product ice cream, selling one dairy-free item off a dairy machine. Not a lie. Just facts nobody tells you. Number 10. Breyers. All natural. The script font. Decades of identity built on the shortest ingredient list in the freezer. Milk, cream, sugar, vanilla. Test. Find the descriptor under the flavor name. On many Breyers tubs, it does not say ice cream. It says frozen dairy dessert. Same brand, same shelf, different legal category. Because once a product drops below that 10% milk fat line, it is no longer entitled to the words ice cream, printed on the package. Printed small. Then the flavor went to court. In 2024 and 2025, Breyers Natural Vanilla was the subject of a class action settlement valued at $8.85 million. Plaintiffs alleged the labeling implied the vanilla flavor came only from the vanilla plant. It covered purchases from April 21, 2016 through August 14, 2024, claim deadline February 19, 2025, and required reformulation to include real vanilla flavor within 1 year. Breyers settled without admitting any wrongdoing. That denial is part of the record. Breyers sits inside the Magnum Ice Cream Company, spun out of Unilever and listed in Amsterdam on December 8, 2025, which reported €2,091 billion in revenue in the first half of 2026. All natural was a promise about a short list, never about a legal category. And if a dairy brand can quietly stop being ice cream, wait until you see what a frozen dessert does, wearing dairy-free on the front. That one is number 2, and it lists 2 egg ingredients. Number 9. Baskin-Robbins Rainbow Sherbet. 31 flavors, the pink spoon, and the pastel swirl handed to a kid because a parent decided it was the light option, the not really ice cream option, the safe one. The test is not on the label, it is in the regulation. Pull up 21 CFR 135.140. Sherbet, under the federal standard of identity, contains not less than 1%, nor more than 2% milk fat, not less than 1% non-fat milk-derived solids, and total milk-derived solids between 2 and 5% by weight. A product legally called sherbet is required to contain milk. Not permitted to, required to. That one fact eliminates a category millions believe is safe. Rainbow, orange, raspberry, the punch bowl at every baby shower, all of it contains dairy by definition. Sorbet is the word you want. Sorbet carries no dairy requirement. 2 letters apart, 1 federal regulation apart, side by side in the same case. This is where the other misread word does its damage. Lactose-free is not the same claim, and it is more dangerous. Lactose is the sugar in milk. Removing it with lactase leaves the milk proteins intact. Casein is still there. Whey is still there. Lactose intolerance can drink it. A milk protein allergy can be hospitalized by it. 1 phrase, 2 conditions. Now picture the parent at that counter ordering sherbet because it isn't ice cream. Not a hypothetical. The predictable output of a word doing a job it was never defined to do. Number 8. Outshine. The frozen fruit bar in the cardboard sleeve. Real strawberry, real lime, 90 calories, fruit photograph on the box. Dessert as basically produce. Test. Turn the box over. Outshine packaging notes the product is manufactured in a facility that processes milk. The brand's own FAQ carries a question titled, "Why does the Outshine package state manufactured in a facility which processes milk?" Then came the day the facility mattered. On July 17, 2023, Dreyer's Grand Ice Cream issued a voluntary recall of Outshine no-sugar-added strawberry fruit bars in 6-count packages, lot codes LLA 317822 and LLA 317922, best by September 30, 2024, sold through Kroger, ShopRite, and Walmart in 14 states. The reason? Undeclared milk. The company's explanation, in its own words, a faulty valve allowed trace levels of milk to be introduced into the product. No illnesses were reported. Dreyer's said the safety, quality, and integrity of its products remain its number 1 priority. Read that from the position it was aimed at. A parent buys fruit bars, the most obviously safe object in the aisle, because their child cannot have milk. A valve fails 6 states away. The box does not know. The parent does not. And Outshine is still the default healthy freezer swap pick online. The brand did the right thing when it found the problem. That is not the point. Fruit bar is not a safety category, and shared equipment is not a footnote. Number 7. Cosmic Bliss. If that name means nothing to you, that is the story. Because for 17 years, this company was Coconut Bliss, one of the most beloved vegan ice cream brands in the country. Test. Count the pints in the freezer set. You will find dairy ones. Human Co. acquired the company in 2020. In early March 2022, Coconut Bliss rebranded to Cosmic Bliss and launched organic, grass-fed dairy ice cream. Trade coverage reported the logic plainly. Roughly 97% of U.S. ice cream sales are dairy. The brand built its reputation inside the other 3% and went looking for the rest. The response was not subtle. One longtime customer wrote that the company had gone from an ethical company to one that decided to add animal exploitation. Cosmic Bliss responded that the decision was consistent with our mission to help build a more sustainable agricultural system. The plant-based pints remain plant-based. What changed is that the name in your memory stopped being a shortcut. A brand you once grabbed blind is now one you read, every pint, every time, in a set where two products from the same company sit inches apart and one is dairy. Halfway. Coming up at number 5, 2 pints with almost the same name, made by the same company, sitting 2 feet apart, and one of them lists egg yolks. Subscribe if you would rather hear this from us now than find it out from a stranger in a comment section 3 years from now. Number 6. Talenti, the clear jar with the screw-on lid, the one people wash out and keep. Its sorbetto line has given it a reputation as the freezer aisle brand safe for people avoiding dairy. That reputation is doing work the gelato line does not deserve. Test. Read Talenti's own FAQ. 2 things sit on it. First, all of our sorbettos are dairy-free, followed by a recommendation of Alfonso mango and Roman raspberry. Second, on pasteurization, any individual ingredients we use like milk, cream, and eggs are pasteurized, as is the final product. The FAQ also states, Talenti uses 6 allergens including milk and eggs, and has no separate production lines for allergen flavors. So the gelato is milk, cream, and eggs, straight from the manufacturer. Not implied, stated, more candid than most competitors manage. The problem is the halo. Sorbetto and gelato ship in the identical jar with identical typography, so the impression that Talenti is the dairy-free one transfers to products that are emphatically not. Double dark chocolate gelato and dark chocolate sorbetto have nearly identical names. The gelato is honest. The jar is the problem. And in a minute, you will see what this same company did with the words dairy-free on the front. Number 5. Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia. Named for a Grateful Dead guitarist, launched in 1987, the flavor that made the brand a cultural object. Do this test. It is the cleanest demonstration on this list. Find Cherry Garcia, then look 2 doors down and find Cherry Garcia non-dairy. Same name, same cherry, same red and white block. The regular Cherry Garcia ingredient list, published by Ben & Jerry's. Cream, skim milk, liquid sugar, water, cherries, sugar, egg yolks, coconut oil, cocoa processed with alkali, cocoa, fruit and vegetable concentrates for color, guar gum, natural flavor, lemon juice concentrate, carrageenan, citric acid, milk fat, soy lecithin, vanilla extract. The allergen line contains egg, milk, and soy. Egg yolks. 7th ingredient. In a pint, most people would swear is milk, cream, cherries, and chocolate. The non-dairy version, from the same company's own site. Oat milk, liquid sugar, corn syrup, cherries, sugar, coconut oil, water, cocoa, pea protein, fava bean protein. Allergen line contains soy oil. Certifications vegan kosher DE. Gluten-free, non-GMO, fair trade sourcing. I want to be surgical, because this matters. The non-dairy Cherry Garcia is certified vegan and a legitimately excellent product. It is on the good list later in this video. The trap is not the non-dairy pint. The trap is one company selling 2 products with effectively the same name and radically different formulations, 2 feet apart, where you have 6 seconds. And the social proof compounds it. Regular Cherry Garcia is one of the highest rated flavors the brand sells. So every one of those reviews attaches to the name, not the version. 20 years of praise for a pint with egg yolks in it. 2 words of differentiation is not a budget problem for a brand inside the Magnum ice cream company. At 9 at night, in a hurry, reading Cherry Garcia, are you checking for non-dairy every time? Are you checking when somebody else shops? Number 4. Breyer's non-dairy. The big tub, the oat milk call-out, the plant-based lane of a legacy dairy brand. I am careful here, because the careless version of this claim is all over the internet, and it is wrong. Breyer's non-dairy vanilla's published ingredient list: water, oat milk, water, hydrolyzed oats, sugar, coconut oil, corn syrup, soluble corn fiber, less than 2% of, soy protein isolate, mono and diglycerides, natural flavor, cellulose gum, guar gum, polysorbate 80, carob bean gum, salt, polysorbate 65, soy lecithin, carrageenan, and natto for color. Credit where it is due. There is no dairy in that list. There is no egg in that list. By ingredients, Breyer's non-dairy is plant-based, and its only real weakness is the absence of certification. That is the accurate statement, and I am not going to inflate it. Here is the actual problem. The package claims non-dairy, gluten-free, kosher. Now look for a vegan certification mark. There isn't one. No logo, no vegan claim. People treat non-dairy, dairy-free, and vegan as one shelf. They are three different claims. Vegan has no federal legal definition in the United States. The FDA does not define it. No agency enforces it. Any company can print it tomorrow with no filing, no audit, no penalty. Certification is the only thing that puts an outside auditor between a marketing department and your cart. Certified Vegan from Vegan Action, or the Vegan Society trademark. The only review of upstream sourcing, processing aids, and ambiguous ingredients. This list has them. Mono and diglycerides can come from plant oils or animal fats, and the manufacturer does not disclose which. Neither is natural flavor disclosed. I am not telling you those are animal-derived. Nobody has verified it either way, and the company has not sought the certification that would. Same parent as number 10, and certification costs a fraction of one product launch. For a milk allergy household, this is formulated for you. For someone whose standard is no animal input anywhere in the chain, a non-certified plant product from a dairy company leaves you nothing to check. Number 3. Häagen-Dazs non-dairy. Here, the accusation is not about an ingredient at all. It is about an absence. When Häagen-Dazs launched its non-dairy line, it was genuinely impressive. Certified vegan, certified kosher D. And the flavors were not one base with mix-ins. Chocolate salted fudge truffle, coconut caramel, amaretto black cherry almond toffee, each a separate formulation. The dairy-free press rated it among the richest plant-based pints on the market. It is gone. The dairy-free specialty press now reports the discontinuation of the entire Häagen-Dazs non-dairy line, and the brand's own site has moved flavors like non-dairy chocolate salted fudge truffle onto a page labeled Retired Flavors. A pint in a freezer today is most likely remaining inventory. Here is why that is a hazard and not a sad story. Discontinuation does not clear the shelf. It clears the production line. Old stock lingers in independent grocers for months. Delivery apps keep the listing live long after the warehouse is empty. And the muscle memory, Häagen-Dazs makes a vegan one, lasts for years, propped up by every glowing review still online. The internet does not retract. It keeps recommending. Meanwhile, Häagen-Dazs Classic, with its egg yolks, sits in the same freezer set, under the same gold band. The person in danger is not the shopper who never knew. It is the one who learned the right answer 3 years ago and was never told it expired. The brand kept the egg version and killed the vegan one, which is the exact same decision made by the brand at number 1. Number 2. Talenti Dairy-Free Dark Chocolate Sorbetto. The words dairy-free are printed on the front of the jar. Sorbetto, the word that in every kitchen means fruit, water, and sugar. Dark chocolate, which implies nothing dairy. A clear jar so you can see it is not creamy. Every signal says plant. Test. Read the label. The label reads, water, sugar, cocoa, processed with alkali, dextrose, coconut oil, egg yolks, less than 2% of, egg whites, chocolate liquor, carob bean gum, sea salt, guar gum, natural flavor, pectin, terra gum. Egg yolks, 6th ingredient, egg whites right after. Allergen line, contains egg. 2 separate egg components, in a sorbetto, under the words dairy-free. And every word on that package is technically accurate. It contains no dairy. Eggs are not dairy. They come from a bird, not a mammal. And the dairy-free press explains this constantly, because it is one of the most common confusions in food labeling. Talenti's cold brew coffee sorbetto contains egg yolks and whites too. But look at the task handed to the shopper. Distinguish, at the freezer door, in 6 seconds, between dairy-free, as a narrow dairy claim, and dairy-free, as a plant claim, on a product whose own category name means the opposite of what is inside it. That is not a supply chain accident. It is a labeling choice. made by a brand inside the Magnum Ice Cream Company, which booked 4,691 billion euros in revenue in the first half of 2026 and could put 4 more words on the jar for free. And it knows how. Plant sorbettos exist inside this very line. Roman raspberry is 6 ingredients, all plants. It just was not done here. Number 1. It is number 1 not because it is the worst thing in the freezer, but because of who it was built to reassure. Halo Top. Halo Top did not sell ice cream. It sold permission. Eat the whole pint. The calorie count on the front in enormous numerals. The protein claim. It aimed at the person already trying to be careful. The dieter. The tracker. The person negotiating with themselves at the freezer at 10 at night. The promise. Stop reading and eat this. Do the test. Pick up Halo Top Vanilla Bean and read the list the company publishes on its own website. Ultra-filtered skim milk, soluble corn fiber, erythritol, cream, sugar, vegetable glycerine, contains 1% or less of natural flavors, ground vanilla beans, dry egg yolk, cellulose gel, cellulose gum, mono and diglycerides, sea salt, inulin, stevia leaf extract, annatto for color, vitamin A palmitate. Dry egg yolk, and the allergen line, in Halo Top's own words, contains egg milk. Dry egg yolk is invisible in a way liquid egg is not. It arrives as a powder in a formulation deck, does nothing to the character of the product, and no consumer would predict it. In a high-protein, erythritol-sweetened vanilla, egg is the last thing anyone scans for. Now the part that moves this, from careless to betraying. Halo Top used to make a dairy-free line. Coconut milk-based, reformulated in 2020 with fava bean protein, soy-free, 270 to 360 calories per pint, certified vegan, certified kosher DE, mostly certified gluten-free. 7 flavors. Very good. Halo Top discontinued it. On top of the 11+ flavors the press reported the brand cutting across 2025. Sit with the shape of that. The brand that once gave you a certified vegan option removed it and kept the one with dry egg yolk in it. The Halo did not shrink. Only the safe product did. The pints are still stocked and still recommended in calorie-counting forums. Halo Top's parent, Wells Enterprises, was acquired by Ferrero in a deal announced December 7, 2022. Ferrero reported consolidated turnover of 19.3 billion euros for its 2024/2025 financial year, up 4.6%, a record. A 19 billion euro company killed the certified pint and kept the egg pint. What does it say that the safest thing on that brand's shelf is the thing they stopped making? Now the 4 that actually held up. Not consolation picks. Every one is something I would buy at full price with my own money. Best option number 4. Nada Moo. Founded in Austin in 2004, making coconut milk frozen dessert before there was a plant-based category to belong to. What they do that almost nobody else does is structural. They stayed independent and single-purpose. No dairy Nada Moo. No classic line. No parent with a milk division. That beats any claim on a package, because no dairy product sits 2 feet away wearing the same logo. The verification stack is third-party, not self-declared. Certified vegan, non-GMO project verified, certified gluten-free, kosher DE. The base is organic coconut milk with agave and tapioca syrup, and organic vanilla bean is a short, legible list. Texture is dense rather than gummy, the failure mode of most coconut bases. Roughly $5.49 at Target, Walmart, and Whole Foods. The honest downside, it tastes like coconut. Mix in distribution is inconsistent, a documented complaint. And kosher DE means dairy equipment, so a severe milk allergy should treat this as shared line. Anaphylactic. Talk to your allergist, not a video. Best option number 3. So delicious dairy-free coconut milk frozen dessert. The workhorse, the one actually in your store. What So Delicious does that others do not is scale certification. Running national distribution while holding non-GMO project verified and certified vegan across an entire line is rare. And non-GMO verification is a supply chain audit rather than a formulation check. Exactly the layer an uncertified vegan claim skips. The line is built on organic coconut. The flavors are deliberately simple, and the sandwiches and dipped bars carry the same certification as the pints. Novelties are where plant-based brands cut corners, because coatings and wafers are where animal ingredients hide. Texture is soft from the freezer, with real richness instead of iciness. 2 honest downsides. Ownership. So Delicious is a Danone brand, and Danone is one of the largest dairy companies on earth. The certifications are real and independently audited regardless. But if your ethics extend to where your dollar lands, know it. Second, it tastes like coconut, more than Nadamu does. Best option number 2. Talenti Sorbetto, specifically the fruit flavors. The same brand sitting at number 2 on the avoid list. Not a contradiction, the entire lesson of this video. You do not trust brands, you trust ingredient lists. Talenti's Roman Raspberry Sorbetto, per the company's own product page. Raspberries, water, sugar, dextrose, lemon juice, carob bean gum. 6 ingredients. Raspberries first. The same holds for Alfonso mango, and the specialty press documents Paradise passion fruit, summer strawberry, and zesty lemon too. With no fat and no protein to mute it, the raspberry is aggressively raspberry, tart, almost sharp, closer to cold fruit than dessert. Roughly $5 to $6, and stocked in essentially every grocery store in the country. 3 honest downsides. 1. The line is not uniformly plant-based. Dark chocolate and cold brew coffee contain egg yolks and egg whites. Number 2 on the avoid list, same brand, same jar. Read the flavor, not the line. 2. No vegan certification, so these qualify on a published ingredient list rather than an audit. 3. Talenti confirms there are no separate production lines for allergen-containing flavors. Read the jar. Every time. Even this one. Best option number 1. Ben & Jerry's non-dairy. First, not because it is the purest thing here, but because it is the certified thing that is also in every freezer in America at 11 at night. Ben & Jerry's launched non-dairy in 2016 on an almond base, then did what almost no large food company does. It reformulated the entire line onto oat milk. Better texture, materially safer for nut allergy households. What they do that nobody else at this scale does is publish full ingredient lists and certifications, flavor by flavor. Cherry Garcia non-dairy oat lists vegan certification, kosher DE, gluten-free, plus non-GMO and fair trade sourcing. Its ingredients begin oat milk, water, oats, liquid sugar, corn syrup, cherries, sugar, coconut oil, water, cocoa, pea protein, fava bean protein. The allergen line, in full, contains soy, no egg, no milk. The oat base is the closest thing on the market to real dairy chew. The mix in density is the best in the industry, and it is a full 16 ounces, not 14. Usually $5 to $7. 3 honest downsides. 1. Kosher DE means dairy equipment. Same caveat as Nadamu. 2. This is not a health food. Oat base plus liquid sugar plus corn syrup adds up. 3. The big one. The number 5 packaging problem runs both directions. The word you want is not Cherry Garcia. It is non-dairy, and it is owned by the Magnum Ice Cream Company, listed in Amsterdam on December 8, 2025. The certification is real regardless of who cashes the check. So here is the rule. It takes 4 seconds, and it replaces everything else in this video. Turn the carton over and read one line, the allergen declaration. Not the front, not the flavor name. Not the leaf, the bold line starting with contains. FALCPA requires it to list the major allergens: milk, egg, soy, wheat, peanuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, sesame. The most reliable sentence on any package in America, and the one nobody reads. Says milk, it has dairy. Says egg, it has egg. The exact failure at number 1 and number 2, both accurately dairy-free, neither vegan. Then the vocabulary, because the front of the package is a different language than the back. Non-dairy is a dairy claim, not an animal claim. Lactose-free removes the milk sugar and keeps the milk proteins. Intolerance, not allergy. Sherbet contains milk by federal law, 1 to 2% milk fat. Sorbet usually does not, but check for egg. Frozen dairy dessert missed the 10% milk fat minimum. Plant-based has no enforcement behind it. Then, look for a third-party certification mark. Certified Vegan from Vegan Action, or the Vegan Society trademark. It means an outside body reviewed the formulation and the sourcing. Without one, you are trusting the marketing department of a company that probably also sells dairy. Then scan for what quietly disqualifies a product. Egg in any form, including dry egg yolk and egg whites, plus gelatin, honey, carmine, whey, and casein. Treat mono and diglycerides and undisclosed natural flavors as unknowns. Last piece. Check the net contents and do the math per ounce. A 14-ounce container, next to a 16-ounce container at the same price, is a 12.5% increase nobody showed you. Here is what I keep coming back to. Almost everyone on the receiving end of this was trying. The person who reads labels. The person who has held a line for 10 years. The parent who scanned the front of a box that said fruit and said dairy-free and made a decision about their child's body based on it. Not lazy people, careful people. These conventions fail careful people specifically because carelessness is all they were designed to survive. You were not fooled because you were not paying attention. You were fooled because the words were arranged to be true and misleading at the same time, and nobody told you those were different things. The good news is, you now know something you cannot unknow. 4 seconds. Turn it over. Read the contains line. Look for the certification mark. That is the whole defense, and it works on every product in that freezer. If you know someone who buys non-dairy for a milk allergy, a parent, a partner, a friend who has been vegan longer than you have known them, send them this. Just number 2, dairy-free on the front, egg yolks in the list. Subscribe, because there is a whole store left and we are reading every label in it. Share it. Somebody is standing in front of that freezer door right now, being careful and getting it wrong.